Hey everybody, what's up? My name's Graham. I'm here with Alex Latour. We're doing another edition of Why Did You Leave?
Oh, where to start?
So we're here at this really cool place in Bangkok. Bangkok has all these kind of cool buildings with all these. Bangkok is one of the most interesting places I've ever been. It's the most chill big city I've ever been. But you know, we met about a year ago when I came out here to do stand-up for the first time, and you're an American, you've been out here a long time, and I always ask people, like, the first question I always ask is, like, why did you leave? Like, give us the origin story, I always call it. I'm a superhero fan, so tell us what got you, because everyone's story is usually fairly interesting.
Sure. You know, I gotta say, I remember when you first showed up here and you had a little bit of a deer in your headlights look. Like, you're like, what is going on in this place?
Yeah, definitely. Bangkok could do that to you. Bangkok could very much. It's such a trip, this city.
Yeah, absolutely.
And look, I grew up in Chicago. I've been to New York. I live in LA. I've been to Shanghai. I've been to Tokyo. And those are big cities, but there's nothing like this place.
Yeah, it's a species of its own, for sure. Like, Bangkok is a whack. It's super fun, though, and I've been lucky enough to make it my home. And that's after, like you, I've lived in some other big cities around the world. I've lived in Guangzhou in China.
I've been there.
That's like living on Mars a little bit, you know? It's a little too alien, whereas Bangkok has some elements that are familiar and still foreign. But I also
Guangzhou, I just want to say, I remember I did my first ever tour in Asia. I did Hong Kong, and then we took a train up to Guangzhou, and that was my first time in mainland China. And it is not Beijing or Shanghai. It is its own.
Definitely.
It's like if you were Chinese and you came to Omaha.
Yeah.
You know, like, or Tulsa, or some city that's just white Americans for the most part.
Yeah.
But anyway.
No. The international influence, it's made it there a little bit now, but certainly not the way that you see in Shanghai or Beijing. But it's still a massive city, too. You're just like, what is, like, it just goes on forever and ever. Kind of like Bangkok a little bit. But I've also lived in Melbourne and Australia too, which is maybe a little too familiar. Like, it did feel a lot like America. But I began my journey abroad when I was 21, I think. Like, I had just gotten out of university, and this was like peak financial crisis. So I had a political science degree. My options were try to find a job. That didn't work. Then
Not when the economy's collapsing.
It was bad timing, I gotta say. Or go to law school, which I entertained, but my minor in university was Chinese. And I had studied abroad in China, and I had always had it in the back of my mind, look, things aren't working out in America, you can go teach English in China for a year, figure it out a little bit.
So when you went to China, you were already somewhat fluent in Mandarin.
A bit, yeah.
Oh, that's huge. That's huge.
Definitely is very helpful. Because, like, you know, Bangkok, I haven't learned any Thai. I've been really bad about it.
Thai is challenging, man.
It's
Thai is
super hard.
like, I feel like I'd have a better shot learning Japanese.
Right. Well, Japanese is easier, I would say. But also, you know, they make it a lot easier here not to speak Thai. It's very foreigner friendly here, and most things are, you know, written in English. A lot of people speak English here. So in China, that is not the case. Like, their English is not good at all, and they're not very accommodating. So it definitely a little bit of Chinese goes a long way over there. But yeah, after 1 year in China, I moved back to America. I had a girlfriend back in America, and we were doing long distance. And she gave me the ultimatum, like, either you come back or we're done. And I was just like, oh, I think I'll go back eventually. Later. That's the thing. I tried it back for 6 months, still couldn't find a job. And I'm like, you know what? I was doing all right in China. So I left again and never looked back. So it's been like 15 years now. Yeah.
Wow. So that's amazing. See, again, there's always, when I always ask, there's always some event. A lot of people, it was COVID, but like the 2008 crisis, it was a huge event in America, and it's still, I think there's still ripple effects across America. I think it's influenced some of the last couple of elections one way or another. And I think that is a big thing. There's no jobs, and you were able to teach English especially knowing Mandarin. I would imagine you got hired pretty quickly, right?
Yeah. You know, I started off at a school that, like, severely underpaid me and, like, not great. But then when I came back, I was sort of piecemeal. And it was really fun. So I was, like, doing, like, sort of a la carte tutoring around the city. So I would work, like, maybe 4 hours one day, 6 hours the next, maybe 2 the next. But I was just, like, hustling all over the city. And that was my first experience really, like I'm from rural Florida, really. Like,
that's the South.
Yeah.
This ain't Miami, where it's like Latin. No, it's. I always say there's South Miami, which is like the Caribbean and Latin America, and then the rest of Florida is the South.
Yeah, for sure. The further north you go in Florida, the further south it becomes. And yeah, so I just really fell in love with living in a big city, and the kind of amenities are there. Like, you know, using subways to get around. And China had like these brand new, awesome public transportation systems. Getting, you know, food delivered easily. Things are cheap, like apartment living. You can walk to the bars and stuff like that. I lived on many acres in rural Florida. Wow. I couldn't ride my bike to my neighbor or anything like that. So it felt very isolating. And then being part of a city made it feel, and I was meeting all sorts of new people from all over the world. So it just like was night and day for me, and really opened my eyes to what that kind of lifestyle could be. And I wanted to be in big cities ever since. Haven't ever left.
That's such an amazing thing. So many people, you know, the small town and the big city thing is such a, I mean, it's an age-old story, but it really, some people grew up in small towns, they go to a big city and they're like, get me out of here.
Right.
You know, I can't deal with this. But then there is so you were in Guangzhou, China. You came back to America to try to get a job and make it work with the girlfriend. That didn't work. And then you went back to China?
Yes, yeah. And then I started working for China Mobile, which is the big telecom company there. And so I was like doing basically, I was just hired by the company to teach their executives and things like that how to deal with business culture for Western people.
That's that is cultural differences. It's one thing when you're like going through life, but in business, man, there's so many subtle things in every, I mean, there's subtle differences in business culture from like LA and New York.
Right.
You know, LA, everyone's hug. I mean, I'm one of my buddies I grew up with in Chicago, this like Irish Catholic dude ran an ad agency, and he comes out to LA, he's shooting some commercial there, and he's meeting with like a fairly named person to potentially be, and this woman hugs and kisses him, and he was like, what the hell? I was like, welcome to LA, baby.
Yeah,
like,
friendly people.
Yeah, friendly people. So what was that experience like, seeing, like, what did you learn as like, I didn't know this about Chinese business culture versus American business culture?
So there was a funny thing that happened when I was working there. So one of the executives that I was teaching pretty exclusively, his credentials were insane. Like he was, you know, degrees out the ass. Like he was just super high, but he didn't like the way the culture of corruption that had sort of infected. And so they had sort of like dead-ended his career. So like, here's your nice penthouse office. Now you just sit there and shut up.
Shut up, yeah shut up.
So one day I was sitting there, I was teaching him, and then a bunch of police came and raided the place. And they arrested all of the executives, like all of the heads of this company. Meanwhile, my guy was just sitting there like, ha, told you. So it was like wild to see.
I mean, that's gotta be, did you have any fears like, they're just,
I mean,
the communists are coming to get me or something like?
Not me. Like I didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
I was on a work permit. I was like, I was above board in every sense. And they were just, you know, they were after the big fish. They were like embezzling and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. And so they just completely cleared house. It was a big chaotic time. It was so funny. Before that moment, we used to go to dinners all the time that were paid for by the company and stuff like that. After that, not so much anymore.
Not a lot of slush fund dinners.
Right,
like.
Yeah. Oh well.
Wow, okay. And then, so during this process, was it a just one day like, that's it, I'm in Asia for good, I'm never going back? Or was it a sort of a gradual thing?
So yeah, and that's the thing. I thought I'd be in Asia for good, but then I was in Hong Kong for a night. And this is back when I was not on my work visas and I had to do border runs and things like that. So me and my roommate at the time, we went to Hong Kong to basically just do our border run. We were gonna party in Lang Kwai Fong all night. Are you familiar with LKF?
Yes.
Then we were just gonna stay up all night and get the first train back home.
That's such a like, I love it. That's just like, hey, let's go to Vegas and not bring suitcases.
Yeah.
We're not showering. We're just going to gamble all night.
That is exactly what we did. And it was my 20s, okay? And then
This is why you're a comedian. This is in the heart of every comic is a let's party all night. There is that.
Yeah, we deal with our demons in different ways. But while I was there, I met a very cute girl, and like so she was with another friend, and I was at a Shisha lounge. Me and my friend had bought a Shisha. We didn't have a table. Like, hey girls, can we sit with you?
Shisha, by the way, folks, that's the big hookah.
Yeah.
Like that's in LA. If you live in LA, there's the hookah lounges or the hookah stores. Out in Asia, they call it Shisha.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
It was one of my first jobs, by the way. I was a hookah maker, like in university. Besides the point. So I sit down, I start chatting up this girl, and then I realize about halfway through the night, after hitting on her all night, oh yeah, and my boyfriend. I'm like, oh shit. So I switched over to the other girl, and
Beautiful, gorgeous. Oh,
that girl, they were from Melbourne, Australia. So they were born in Hong Kong, but raised in Australia. So I figure when I go to talk to them, I think like I'm gonna be speaking to a Hong Kong girl or a Chinese girl, and then they're like, hey, g'day, cunt. And I'm like, whoa, okay. So that got my attention right away.
you want some dim sum, cunt?
Yeah, basically. And then we just hit it off, me and this other girl, and then we just kept talking. Like I went back to Guangzhou, she went back to Melbourne, and we just kept talking. It was just a great, dynamic. And after 6 months, I went down to visit her in Melbourne, and we're like, all right, we'll play house for a week, see if it'll work. And it did, and then 6 months after that, I had quit my job with China Mobile to move down to Australia, to Melbourne, to be with her.
And so again, you're still, from a visa standpoint, I mean, I know Australia's a little easier. I've done shows in Australia one time on tourist visas, and we just did it under the table. Another time we got straight up work visas. The visa situation is, I don't know what it's like today, but I'm guessing it was a little easier as an American to get a work visa?
So I was on a working holiday at the time. So I was young enough for that still. So that's good for a year, but then you can only work for some company for 6 months at a time. So this was kind of like, my girlfriend at the time, she was finishing her nursing degree. So I needed to wait for her for a year, and then we were gonna go back to China together after that. So I went down there, and I had a bunch of savings. So for 3 months, I was unemployed again, looking for jobs that I actually wanted. Before I had eventually settled for a job at Sunglass Hut.
Oh, dude, this is fantastic.
Sunnies.
You just always come back home to Florida.
Oh, that was the issue though. I had gotten used to a nice cushy corporate job in China, and then I came back to the Western world. I'm like, okay, here's your job at Sunglass Hut. I'm like, great, this is not what
It's
I
the best
signed
you
up
can
for.
get, yeah.
And for them too, you could only work for a place for 6 months. I ended up being very good because they opened a new store in a new mall that was heavily trafficked by Chinese people. So I knew Chinese, and then I was able to just
They
sell my
must have
ass off.
loved
They
you,
did.
man. Because they just walk by and you'd say in Chinese, try some Chinese.
Easy.
Say it. Say it.
你要戴这个太阳 oh shit, I forgot sunglasses all of a sudden. 太阳镜.
Make the sale, Alex.
太阳镜, yeah.
Oh, and they would stop and look at you like...
Just, simple Chinese is enough to be like, especially not in China, like
Right.
in another Western country, they're like not expecting that at all. So, and they got money too. And they want the most expensive things. So
Right.
good commissions, good things like that. But I can only work for them for 6 months before I had to get another job. So I ended up working at a cafe, my barista days as well too. I could make a mean latte art, my friend.
Sunglasses and lattes. That's
Thank you, Australia. It's my culture crash course down there. Because they take coffee very seriously.
Yeah.
They're like super serious.
no
about it
joke.
down there. But then my girlfriend messed up her studies. So my working holiday was only for 1 year, and then she needed another year of studying. And I was like, well, I don't want to do long distance. So then we got the partner visa. So now I'm still technically on that. I have residency in Australia until 2036.
Oh, well, let's do it, dude. Like, so...
Even though we're not together
Yeah.
anymore.
No, okay.
I'm not sure if that voids my visa or not.
Just go back. What does it matter?
I'm allowed, I think. They already approved me. It's so funny. Because they approved me like 1 week after we broke up. And I'm like, well, I guess we didn't tell them.
What they don't know won't hurt. So then you broke up and then what? You came back?
No, actually, we did end up moving to China together, where we ended up teaching. It was funny because my brother was there and he met his wife there, and they were teaching at an international school, like AP classes. You know, AP, like the college level for high school. So they were going back and we were coming in. So I ended up taking over the program. So I was teaching AP Economics, Literature, Comparative Politics, and then my girlfriend, she had science background. She did AP Psychology. She was a mental health nurse, and Biology. And
that is such a great example of like, all you can do is sell sunglasses and coffee in the West, and then you're this like you have these degrees, so you're this highly accomplished professor in China.
Yeah. Like, why would I go back? Like, you know what I mean? And the student culture there is so different. They're like respectful. They like listen. I'm teaching them like taboo subjects too. Like I'm teaching them about Tiananmen Square and about 1984. They're reading books that are kind of technically banned there.
Wow.
Because they're all going to study abroad in the West, like in the UK or Australia or America. And I want them to be armed with that knowledge. I don't want them to show up and then learn it all, like, you know, be challenged by Western students and stuff like that. I want them to be aware of, you know, we teach our bad history in America. At least I learned it.
Not all of it, but we teach some of it.
Yeah.
I had to learn about Fred Hampton about 6 years ago.
Oh.
Didn't talk to that at school. Or
I don't know who Fred Hampton is.
Exactly. Head of the Black Panthers in Chicago. He tried to unify.
Got it. Yeah.
You know, he said capitalism builds racism. He went to a poor white part of Chicago and said we're all on the same team. And then the FBI and the Chicago PD took him out.
That makes sense.
Anyway, that's another podcast I do called Government Secrets. But anyway.
Fascinating.
All right, so then what got you to Thailand? What?
Yeah, so I was doing that job with my now ex, and we were in Japan in January of 2020. I call that Japanuary.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then that's when all hell was breaking loose for COVID. So we were in Japan, and then COVID was breaking out in China, and they were like, okay, the schools are shut down for another week. It was for Chinese New Year, we were there. And then so we stayed an extra week in Japan, and I'm like, okay, now what? Like, I was thinking, like, is this gonna blow over in a week, SARS or something?
I remember those conversations. I remember we had a whole tour, me and my friend Ron Placone had a whole tour planned, March, April, May of 2020. I remember being in February, we were still doing shows like, boy, we might have to cancel a month or two.
Jesus Christ, little did we know.
16 months later.
Oh,
you know.
God, don't even, because that was the big issue for us. We stayed 1 week in Japan, and then eventually I'm like, okay, I'm paying rent, I'm like paying for hotel rooms. I'm like, this is too much. So we book a flight back to Hong Kong, and then from Hong Kong, usually we take the train back to Guangzhou. Trains are all shut down. You have to get a private car. And back to the border, then you cross the border by foot, get another private car, and I swear to God, it was like the beginning of 28 days later, right? Like empty streets, businesses are shuttered. I saw like a Chinese guy on the side of the road eating a dog, so not everything had changed, but just kidding. But it was weird.
That would rattle me. I'll be honest with you.
That wasn't true, but anyways, I'm exaggerating. But we got back for a day, and my dad was like, he used to have he has a bit more of an understanding of what's going on, like with government connections and stuff like that. Can't get too into it.
CIA dad.
Who knows? I don't even know. But he was like, you have to get out. This is way worse than what China's letting on about. Like, what are you doing back there? Get out of there. So we dropped off all of our winter clothes, and then I was like, okay, I gotta book a flight the next day. 2 flights available from Guangzhou. One was to Kunming, which is still in China, doesn't help much there. The other one was to Bangkok. So we came to Bangkok.
I mean, it's amazing. You've had 2 massive events dictate where you live. The 2008 housing collapse and then COVID.
And don't forget romance. Took me down to Australia
of course,
too.
romance is
That's a big life event.
That is a big life event. That is a big life event. But like, I mean, yeah, you're the second person I've interviewed where COVID, Lex Morales was stuck here during COVID. Like he was here just like, hey, being touring, and then, so the only flight you could get was to here.
Yeah, and then that was the funny part. We came, and a lot of people also got the same idea of us coming. So a lot of our friends followed us. And so we just had a big group of us traveling around. We went to like Krabi, we went to Phuket, we went to Koh Samui. And then when we were in Koh Samui, people were like, all right, we gotta get back to China. Our jobs are there, our houses are there. And everybody booked their flights back. And we had as well But then China made an announcement.
When was this?
This was March of 2020.
Oh, this is when the whole world shut down.
Correct. So they made an announcement. Our flight was from March 29th. They made an announcement, hey, March 28th at midnight, we're not allowing any foreigners back in. So we're like, what? Okay. So we made our flight for March 28th. We were supposed to arrive like Samui to Bangkok, Bangkok to Guangzhou. We should arrive an hour before the cutoff time. And then we go from Samui to Bangkok, and at the terminal, they said, sorry, no foreigners allowed. Why? There's thunderstorms in Guangzhou. Weather delay. So we're gonna arrive after the time, only Chinese allowed on this flight.
This was in Bangkok.
In Bangkok. So they had already let us on in Samui, and we were in Bangkok when they shut it down. And I was like, what? What now?
So what? Oh my God, that's it. So you're just stuck at
Yeah.
BKK. You're just going, what do we do?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So what we did was we got, because we didn't want to be in a big city too. We were in Bangkok.
Sure, yeah.
So, well, that island looked pretty nice. So we just did a U-turn and just got on another flight back to Koh Samui. And we went back to the hotel we had been staying at. Nobody else was there except us. The hotel, it's a big hotel, like bungalows on the beach kind of thing. They're like, you guys can stay here, but we're only gonna check up on it once a week. So I'm like, what is this, the Overlook on an island or something like that? It was like really creepy. So yeah, we found another hotel that had that stayed open and had a lot of other people who congregated there because there was nowhere else to stay.
And you're outside, so you're not really having to wear masks because everything's. How was Thailand with the masks and all that stuff?
They took it pretty seriously.
Yeah,
So everybody wore masks. They had the mask culture.
Right.
Anyways.
Asia always has had that. I remember flying through Asia in 2002 and 2003, and like SARS was happening, and people were wearing masks in Asia. They had no problem with it. It wasn't a big deal. Wow, that is just like that. I mean, it's one of those things like. At the time, I had some kind of similar stuff. Like I was going to go to Australia, then I ended up in Hawaii. At the time, not bad at all. I had a very nice COVID. At the time, it's chaotic and you don't know what to do. But looking back on it, isn't it? Not the pandemic and all the people passing away, but just in terms of like. You're so powerless, and it's like, we can't go to China. I guess we'll go back to this island and stay in a resort that's empty.
Right.
No,
it was like, in many ways, COVID was very cathartic for me. I was able to like take breaks from what was going on. I got to keep my job. That was the fun part. Like, I was still teaching remotely.
Everything was Zoom.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you had income.
Yeah.
And you're living on the beach and.
Yeah.
Oh,
so I'm just rolling out of bed, going to class, like for 3 hours a day is all I had to do. And then after that, I have the whole afternoons to do whatever. I'm collecting the same paycheck. I was still paying rent in China because I was like, maybe next month, maybe next month. It was like a year before I'm like, all right, I think
it's time to stop paying for an empty apartment.
So dumb. Like, should have been much sooner. But I was on a cheap, little private villa room, like in Koh Samui. Everything's a lot cheaper because there's nobody there anyways. And it was like a little sitcom for us. Like we had our remote jobs, that was great, still paying. Then everybody there was from some other weird place. So we had like a Russian family across away from me. The dad kept stealing my weed all the time. The next to him was the Romanian guy with his Thai wife. They could not understand each other at all. Hilarious. Next to me was this French model, former model / heroin addict who was constantly trying to have a threesome with me and my girlfriend. And then next to
that last part again.
She never did. And then next to her was a Cuban man who swore he wasn't gay, but was very obviously gay, and also kept trying to have a threesome with me and my girlfriend. So, an interesting cast of characters.
So you could have had any type of three. That's the thing I love about Thailand. You can go either direction. You can go whatever.
If only my girlfriend had been more amenable, but sad. But that was wacky. We were there for 6-7 months. Like, we did somebody's birthday first, and we're like, oh, this is funny. We got something. I wonder who's going to be next. And then every single one of us had a birthday by the end of it. Like, oh my God.
Wow. So you're there 6-7 months, and then what? Things start to open up, or you?
A little bit. So we came for a trip up to Bangkok because finally the Romanian and the Thai woman, they're like, okay, you know what? We need to get back to London where they lived. not understanding anybody
Not
there either.
under a colder climate.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So we went with them to Bangkok to check it out, and everything, COVID had been beat in Thailand. So bars were open, people were going to...
So Thailand did the Chinese vaccine, right? Like,
No, this is pre-vaccine. They had just shut down enough to where it kind of ran its course, and then their borders were closed, nobody was allowed in. So it just opened up again. We're like, there's 0 cases here, and there's persistent. So everything kind of opened up, and the city was back alive. And I'm like,
but just no flights in or out of
Right.
Thailand.
Yeah.
You could fly around Thailand.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow.
So it was super cool how that happened. And we're like, well, we love big cities. Let's come up here and just live here instead of the island, which we were kind of sick of. It was nice, but you know, there's more stuff going on up here.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was 2020, I guess. And I've been in Bangkok ever since. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
And then you just, when things open up, you start doing stand-up, and now you're doing Tiger News and all.
A little bit of a, yeah, that's too fast, because I kept that job for like multiple years, actually. And I eventually, it was so funny, I was with my ex, and we were at a Japanese karaoke bar, like right nearby Whiskars, where we do my shows on Wednesdays. And she stepped out, like we didn't know anybody, we're just sitting there by ourselves. She stepped out to go get some cigarettes. She came back with this tall, dark, handsome man. I'm like, wait, what's going on here? And this guy is her friend, party friend back from Australia, who now runs music festivals here. And she just randomly ran into him at a corner store, like small world shit. And then he introduced us to a big network of people here. So that's how we got to know the city.
Okay, so now my question is, so God, that's an insane story. Like you have a very, one of the better.
It's pretty wild, yeah.
So you've been in Asia this whole time. You went through all that crazy. I mean, literally, COVID drove you here, quite literally, and you love Bangkok, and you consider that your home, like you're.
Yeah. It's been like 5-6 years now, and yeah, because of the job. One of those friends that I met through that guy eventually got me this job at the Tiger, which is like my YouTuber content creation gig now, because they had a couple of presenters drop out on them very quickly. And he was connected to the Tiger through Fazwaz, the real estate company. And he knew my personality, he knew me. And he was like, give this guy a shot. And then I just came in, and they're like, I thought there was an interview. They're like, no, just, you're doing the show now. And I'm like, okay. And then that was almost 3 years ago.
That's actually how I got to know you. So a year ago, when I was getting ready to come here for the first time, I just started watching stuff about Bangkok and Thailand. And my friend Jake Inario hooked me up with Lex and Comedy Joint and all that, and I was just following Thai influencers, and I came across your guys' channel and was watching you, and then I was like, and then Lex was telling me as I was setting up shows with him that you were booking shows, and I was like, oh, this is cool. So my question now is, you've been through this whole like journey in Asia, you went back. Have you been back to the States recently, and what was that like?
Yeah, so I've been back to the States twice since moving to Thailand. The first time was, I called it my vaccine vacation, like, because we didn't have the good stuff in Thailand, but we did in America. So I went back to, it was Miami and the Virgin Islands. My mom lives in the Caribbean, and got my vaccines during that time. And that was kind of nice, go back to see the families and stuff. Then, since that trip, my brother has had 3 babies. He had 1 baby at first. I actually met him that trip, but then the second trip I just got back from, he had twins earlier this year.
Boink. That happened to a buddy of mine, man. When the twins thing is like, oh.
It is insane. So we met up with them in California this time because they live in Phoenix. I'm like, I don't want to go to Phoenix. It's terrible. But we met in California, and it was just a scream fest for like a week. I'm like, oh, God. Very good contraceptive, I guess.
I know, I'm an uncle. I got 6 nieces and nephews, and I'm like, so many moments when they're all older now, but I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm having kids.
It's not for me. Yeah.
Did you, having been here, living here now so long and everything, was there anything like, oh, I miss this about America, or you're like, I don't miss that at all, I'm very happy in Thailand?
Time zone for sports, maybe. Like that's
right, yeah. The sports thing is like, yeah.
I always say the best parts of America can be enjoyed from a distance, like the music, the movies, TV shows, that kind of stuff. Because like the lifestyle in America just kind of sucks. comparatively. Like,
How so? Give us some specific examples that stood out to you.
so first, like the working culture,
Yeah.
like people work themselves to the bone. You only get like 2 weeks of holiday a year if you're lucky and they're not paid or something like that. Like I've had friends come to visit me in Asia, and they come for like 5 days, and they spend like 2 or 3 of those on the travel, and then they come here and they're like, wow, that was great. I'm like, what the fuck,
5
guys?
days?
Like,
No, I used to have that too. I would come to places and be like, I need to get back.
yeah, yeah.
For what?
I know. Well, it's just
You got to work. You got to work
you're
yourself
gonna
to the
get
bone
fired or
because
something
your
like
rent
that.
is $2,500 a month or whatever.
Expensive healthcare. You know, you have to drive to get around. Like, there's no, like, maybe if you live in New York.
Right.
But other than that, like, you have to have a car, and then all of the costs associated with that too. And yeah, the pay's like, obviously the pay's better over there than it is here, but just like the trade-offs are insane.
The cost of living here is so much lower that it kind of evens out, even though like the pay, like I look at the money, like what gigs are paying me, and I'm like, wow, that's a lot lower than I make in the States, but my rent is 70% lower than it. It's a third of what I was paying.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when it comes to the stand-up too, it's just like, you know, the U.S. is just so far ahead in terms of having a developed market as well. And that, for me, has been one of the fun things here in Bangkok, is trying to help develop the stand-up comedy scene. That was how I got into it too, actually. It's so funny. I got the job at Tiger the same week. So I got the job, and then 2 days later, me and my girlfriend of 10 years broke up. So then I was a miserable sap, and I had evenings that I needed to fill with something, or I was going to go crazy. And I remember seeing Neil Brennan here, and I was like, Neil, one of my favorite, Dave Chappelle's writing partner, one of my favorite comics. And I remember seeing one of the local comics open for him. Two local comics open for him. I hope they don't watch this because they might know who I'm talking about. But one of them was just abysmal, like totally bombed. And I was like, if they can do that, and they're opening for Neil Brennan here in Bangkok, why can't I start writing stuff and doing stand-up? And then my first time, I completely bombed. Then it was like, it's a suppressed memory. But after that, I got the bug, as you do. Yeah. And then I started doing shows, and then eventually I started putting on my own shows, like making my own stage time, right? Because you're always fighting for stage time. So making your own shows is a big part of that. And now it's like 3 or 4 shows a week now I'm doing here. We got a big one on Saturday.
We have a big one on Saturday. We did a show 2 weeks ago in Pattaya, or however it's pronounced. Which
you
was
got
cool.
it.
Well, so as we wrap up here, like, what's like the biggest difference, I guess, either lifestyle-wise or culturally, here in specifically Bangkok, because even the rest of Thailand is different, you know, like then Bangkok's its own animal. What is the biggest difference here that you really like? You're like, this is why I like living in Bangkok. This is what I love about living in Thailand.
I would say it's sort of like the frenzy of the city. And then not only that, the people that occupy it. So Bangkok is craziness, right? There's all sorts of, you know, you can do whatever you want. There's crazy nightlife, there's beautiful parks, there's amazing restaurants, there's crazy dive bars and like fun little underground scenes as well, including our comedy scene. I would, like to think it's not underground, but
It kind of is.
we're getting there.
It's coming up to the street level a little bit.
But then, it's just such a massive city, and then the people who occupy it are so nice and so sweet. And then the foreigners that come here who are engaged with the city, it rubs off on them.
Yeah.
So there's this just big culture of friendliness and welcoming that I think is infectious. And this is a massive city. You never hear a car horn.
No.
You know what I mean? And that's
I've never seen anybody. This is the nicest, most chill big city I've ever been in my life. I mean, when I first got here, I was going to a co-working space just to see my Airbnb to a co-work, just see what daily life is like. And I'm from LA, where you have to have a car, and so I'm familiar with big cities. So I just kind of went into like Chicago, New York, big city mode, and I'm like hustling, I'm running up the stairs to catch the train, and everyone's like, "Why? There's going to be another one." And I was like, I had to slow down. I was in American big city mode, and I started to get the Thai big city vibe. and everyone's polite and bowing if they bump into you on the train. And I was just like, and you're right, it really, there is an energy here. You can do whatever you want here, good or bad. You can go to a sound bath and have a Buddhist monk teach you how to meditate. Yep. You could get a 5-star Michelin meal. You could have street food that's amazing. You could go to the dark side of some stuff if you want. It's right here. It's right here.
It's available.
But like, it's amazing. So what would you say to somebody that's thinking about moving here, coming here? What would you say to them? Like, what's your piece of, coming from America specifically with no real knowledge of what this is like?
Just come with an open mind, right? Like, don't expect it to, like, the creature comforts of America are here. Like, so don't be afraid. There are ways to like get, your McDonald's and like things like that. But then also have an open mind to experience new things. Like, get ready to ride on the back of motorbikes.
That took me a couple of weeks, brother. I still am scared to death when I did it yesterday.
Buy a helmet.
Buy a helmet.
That's good. But then, that's part of the adventure, right? Try new foods. Thai food is amazing. Get into try Muay Thai if you want to try some a different kind of exercise experience. There's all sorts of fun local cultural things to do, and then of course there's so many. The expat community is so big that you'll find friends. It's much easier to meet friends that way. There's all sorts of events that are going on constantly that cater to our audience as well. So you really can't go wrong. The only challenge is finding a way to be able to stay here, which is something everybody wants to do.
It's a visa issue. I'm figuring that out myself. I'm on a tourist visa and I got to apply for a DTV or something, and you just got to navigate that visa thing. But the good news, like you're saying, there's all these expats here that have been here a while that can help you. And the thing about, I always think about an expat community, and I've been in a couple different countries. It's like when you first get to a university, everyone's away from home. Everyone's sort of in that shared, hey man, I was there 2 years ago when you just got, like, you saw me kind of like, last summer. You're like, maybe Graham will figure it out. But so that's great advice. There's a lot of expats here. Okay, cool, man. Dude, thanks. This is a great conversation. I understand your life a little more now. That's why I love doing a long-form podcast. So where can people follow you online?
So the Tiger, THAIGER. So it's the Tiger Official on Instagram. But if you just type in the Tiger anywhere, we'll pop up. YouTube, Facebook, X, whatever. We're working on our OnlyFans. Not yet, but
I'll tag them in this so you guys can get it. But especially if you follow them on Instagram or you can get their news. It's news about Thailand in English, so it's really helpful if you want to learn about what's going on.
And also Triple L Comedy as well, where you can see me and Graham putting on shows in and around Thailand.
Yes.
So, just stay abreast of all the fun stuff we got going on.
I'll tag both those things. Like, share, subscribe, everybody. Really appreciate it. Alex, thanks a lot, man. This is really
pleasure,
cool.
Graham.
This is always a great conversation, and thanks to those people in the background.
Extras. See you guys.